after that 90-plus minutes?
I'm sorry for the result, for the players, because they are suffering too much. And today I think we deserve to win the game against one great Brighton. And a big congratulations for their style, their level of players and everything. But I think, especially in that moment of the game, we couldn't concede that goal of Jorginho Rutter, no?
It will, I suppose, in some ways feel very disappointing given you were twice in front. But looking at what has gone on before, were there some positive signs today that you spoke of during the week in terms of effort, mentality, belief at times?
No, I'm positive, but I am proud of my players because they played a fantastic game as a character, as a spirit. What I asked them to deserve to play in this stadium for this club. We have to be stronger than this result. And we have to move on and to prepare the next game in Wolverhampton and to try to win the game. Because if you are strong like today, I think we can compete again.
We spoke, and I talked before about you're very much head of a family here now. You're the father figure, the man that shoulders the responsibility. And I know what gets said in dressing rooms often can't be repeated to us. But you spoke for some time to your players in there. Can you share us a little insight of what you've said after that result?
No, I said to be strong, to follow me again and again, because I want to help them. I want to they can change the mentality, because the mentality in this moment of football is the most important part. Now is too easy to think negative, but we have to be focused on this performance we did. And to work and to find the condition to win a game. Because I'm positive, not because I'm coach of Tottenham, because I know my players, I know their qualities, I know my players like a people, a human value, and I believe in them.
I know you've been to this stadium before, but it's the first time you've been here and you're the manager of this historic football club. Did you get a sense today of what it means to the people and the supporters and the people that work here for you to succeed in your quest to keep this club in the Premier League?
Io so che lei è la prima volta che viene qui in questo stadio da manager. Lei è riuscito a percepire quello che è il significato di venire in questo stadio per le persone che ci lavorano, per i tifosi, nella sua ricerca, nella sua conquista del successo?
But listen, I know we are fighting to keep in Premier League. Very difficult moment, but anyway, we are lucky, every one of us, to work in this club with these fans, because it's incredible atmosphere today. You could think today we are fighting to qualify in Champions League and not to relegate. And I'm sorry for the fans. What I can say is until the end we go to fight every game, and we go to give our best. And if we are able to give our best, I think it's not finished yet.
5 games left, it certainly isn't finished. Did you see seeds today, signs of optimism for what you're trying to achieve?
Today I watched the signs, I watched the blood, I watched character, I watched qualities, I watched organization of the with the ball, without the ball. I watched the qualities of my players, the right spirit. I watched everything we need to reach our target and to fight until the end of the season.
One very final question. People talk about your reputation. We know you're a high-quality coach on the training ground. What technically do you need to work on going into that next game that can get you that victory that you've said will change the season?
Lei è un manager di questa squadra, lei osserva quelle che sono anche le qualità come manager di questa squadra. Quali sono dal punto di vista tecnico gli aspetti su cui lavorare per l'occasione della prossima partita per riuscire a vincerla?
But for sure we have to improve in a lot of things in football, if we are speaking about football. But it's not the crucial part. The crucial part is to keep this mentality, and for that I said to the player, now I told them to come Monday morning, Monday afternoon with the same behavior they show today. Otherwise I don't want to work with the sad people, with the negative people. They have to believe in myself, because if I'm here, if I accepted to come in Tottenham now, it's because I'm positive to stay in Premier League next season, 100%.
Roberto, I really appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
It's really clear there that Roberto De Zerbi is keen to keep a positive mindset in at Tottenham Hotspur. Is that really his most important job now, is getting that mindset right for the players in these final few games?
Definitely. You can forget tactics, you can forget shape, philosophy, that goes out the window. It's mentally. He talks about we need to be strong. Psychologically, how do we bounce back from this disappointment? It's disappointing now, but then I'm sure when he speaks about going in on Monday afternoon and you prepare and you get ready for Wolves, you try and flip it and go, how many positives were there? Did we see that at Sunderland last week? Not really. Did we see an intensity from this Spurs team? 100%. I loved it. They got after Brighton. They had a real go. All right, they didn't get the 3 points. But that can happen sometimes. You don't get always what you deserve. And the run they've been on in recent weeks, it's going to be challenging. But he's got the fight. I listen to him and I think, I'd run through brick walls for him. He's got our backs. We're going to fight and we're going to try and get out of this trouble. And he comes out and he fronts it up, as disappointed as he is, which he will show them players. They've got to go in and show, I don't want people coming in feeling sorry for yourself. You lift yourselves up and you go again.
There was also an opportunity for Tottenham Hotspur to try and double their advantage when they were already 1-0 up. Javi Simmons, who actually had quite a few really good chances. Of course, he assisted one of the goals, got one of the goals as well. But this was a really good chance for them.
Yeah, this was great play by Dominic Solanke, and I thought he was fantastic as well today. But he just plays a great ball into Javi Simmons, and you see him here, and good that Conor Gallagher doesn't touch it because he'd be offside. But he plays a great ball, cuts inside. He doesn't really curl it, he just hits it straight. And unfortunately hits the post, and we thought Porro had smashed it over the bar, but it wasn't. It's a great save from Van Bruggen in the end. But look, just hits it straight, and I suppose, and when the manager's talking, I think he's talking about don't start feeling sorry for yourself. Because that you can get into that sort of like that mode of a player where you think, things aren't quite going our way, and start feeling sorry for you. You ain't got time for that now. You've got 5 games, 5 really important games. You ain't got to worry about feeling sorry. You just got to go out and perform.
Right, so a really big performance from Javi Simmons. Let's hear from him now with David Craig.
Xavi, a game of big emotions, and I think we saw on your face twice today those emotions, 2 very different ones, the celebration over your goal and the heartache at the end. Can you sum up your feelings and the feelings in that dressing room after that performance today?
Yeah, I think we started really good. We were playing home and we know how difficult the situation is, but we wanted to take the 3 points for the fans as well. And slipping it in the last minute, it hurts, but we are putting the work on it, and we're going to go through this situation.
Did we see, despite the result, a very different performance from everybody, not just the starting 11, but those that came off the bench? Did we see a change in behaviours today?
Yeah, I think new coaches coming in, new rules, different way of playing, different mentality, and we have to stick together. We have to go in the same direction as the coach. I think, especially for me as well, I was really happy to work with him, and we have to go through this situation, and we will get through it.
We read during the week that he'd spoken to you personally about he believes in you, your abilities. Did that make you feel today that you could have an influence on this game? And what effect has he had on you as a player and the rest as individuals?
Yeah, obviously as a collective has been a difficult season. Personally as well, has been a challenging season, but I'm still young. I have to learn things. I have to go through different situations. Cannot always be really good. And this season was like this. And now that this coach is coming in, for me especially, I'm really happy. He wants to play football. He wants to bring me in the situations where I really can be dangerous against the other teams. And together as a collective, I think we'll do really good.
It was said before the game, and the manager said it, one win he senses can change the whole thing. There are 5 games left. You go to Wolves next. Is that the feeling within everybody, that just that one win and the momentum shifts completely?
Yes, because I'm seeing on a daily basis what the guys are doing. We're really working hard to go through the situation, especially for the fans as well. And we're gonna what I say, we're gonna go through it and we're gonna work hard to get to that.
Just finally, there was a lot positively spoken about in the build-up to this game about the team bonding, going out for a meal. Does that need to continue? Despite what's happened today, does that bonding, that joining together, coming together, need to continue for these next 5 games to get you where you want to be?
Yeah, I think the message is clear. We are all in the same boat and we have to go through it. And the most important thing, we have to do it for the fans, for the club. And I know what the guys are doing as a collective. We're going to go through it.
Xavi, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, player of the match performance tonight from Javi Simmons. He certainly had an influence on the game, but just look at that reaction full time. How frustrating it was for him as well that his goal wasn't the one that won it.
Yeah, emotions. No problem showing your emotions. It's a game of football. That can happen. You saw his emotions when he scored. Ecstatic, rightly so. It's only his 2nd Premier League goal since he's come to the Premier League, and then your heartbreak at the end. Football can be fine margins, little details in game. If you don't quite get them right, sometimes you can be punished. And unfortunately for Xavi and the Spurs team, that happened right at the very end.
This is the relegation run-in. How are you looking at it when you're looking at the teams that are trying to avoid relegation? Spurs have got still a good chance, but it all depends really, doesn't it, about what happens with Forest, at Burnley, Palace as well against West Ham.
Yep. Like I said, if they'd have jumped today, it would have put a bit of pressure on those guys. But there'd be Forest and West Ham be looking at it thinking, if we can win tomorrow, we make it even harder for Spurs to climb out of it. Spurs can't really worry about anybody else now. It's just about what they can do. They've got 5 games to go. They need to win all 5 of those games. They'll be thinking that in the dressing room. That's what the manager will be telling them. Don't worry about anybody else. We've got to worry about what we do, because that's what's going to get us out of this position, not what anybody else doing in that changing room.
I suppose that when they're looking is that Forest, West Ham are coming into this sort of run-in with a bit of momentum.
Yeah, and this time of year you see some crazy results. Teams are looking at different aspects. Crystal Palace, Europa Conference League. Leeds have got an FA Cup semi-final. West Ham, all their eggs are in trying to stay in the Premier League. I mean, what a week Leeds United have had. Going to Old Trafford on Monday night, picking up 3 points there, then winning a game that they will have looked at and gone, this is a game we have to win at home at Ellen Road today. And they did that. So there's so many games. I looked at that. Next week is a must-win. But you can look at it, you can implement, all right, Leeds are coming to town for Spurs on the 15th. Will they be safe? All these kind of things. There's loads of things. You just have to take care of yourself and try and win a game as quick as possible.
I'm just looking at Forest, because Forest will look tomorrow and think, we need to win that tomorrow, because if you don't, look at they're away at Sunderland, they're away at Chelsea, home to Newcastle. Their running's tough.
And they've
really,
got
really
European.
And they've got European, exactly.
Aston Villa semi-final. So loads of things come into it, Les, don't there? That you look and go, we've got to win there, and then you lose. And I've been in a relegation battle. I got relegated with Hull City, and you can go away. We went away to the Etihad. We 1-0 up. James Milner scored a goal. You get a point. You think, oh, no problem. Then we play Sunderland, all already been relegated, and you get beat. You can't look at game. You've got to take the next one thinking we're going to go there and try and win. That's all you can do. Take care of your own performance and your own destiny.
So what you're saying, it's probably going to go all the way to the last game.
Definitely. I mean, look, West Ham Leeds on the final day.
Exactly.
But you go to the final day, Leeds will be thinking, that's the last thing we want to do, be going to the London Stadium. But loads of games, loads of excitement for everyone on Sky Sports, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It is far from over, this relegation. How disappointing is it that they weren't able to do it today?
It's a massive disappointment, not just because they didn't win a game and it's 2 points dropped, in my opinion, the way they played, plenty of positives, but the fact that they took the lead twice and then they gifted, in my opinion, Brighton the 2 goals, so avoidable from Spurs' point of view. Take nothing away from Brighton. Always you look at their strengths that they can gain, but from Spurs' point of view, devastated the way they conceded the goals, which we're going to see where they could have been certainly avoided.
We'll have a look at the goals in just a minute, but first of all, in terms of the players' mindset now, because they're going to look at this game and think this was a huge opportunity. They were leading 2-1 until the very, very end. What do they need to do now to keep that positive mindset going into those final games?
I think if you looked at the game overall, I've been to quite a few Spurs games this season, and I've never left the stadium thinking, Spurs have been unlucky today. I think every time I've watched them, they've been well beaten. Today, you'd leave the stadium thinking we were a bit unlucky. When we're going to get that little bit of rubber agreement. I think if you're the players, you're going to take some positives about the way you played today, the way you went at them. Like you said, you took the lead twice, and showed some good positive stuff. I mean, they gave a goal away at the end of the first half, which gave Brighton momentum. They came out in the second half and they had the momentum, and then all of a sudden Spurs snatches it back, score a goal, and you think, right, we're on top again. Started playing the ball around. I think the pivotal point was when Javi Simmons got cramp, and they basically went down to 10 men.
Well, you mentioned it there. Spurs went ahead twice in this game. Let's have a look at how they did it the first time in the first half. Pedro Porro in a really good position. But Spurs, what do you like so much about this goal, Dawes?
Well, I love the way they pressed. And Conor Gallagher, certainly his best game in a Spurs shirt for me. Dominic Solanke is what you expect all the time when he plays. His work ethic is outstanding. Yes, they put them under pressure. They know how Brighton play. And we've always talked about, can we get Javi Simmons in the team? And where's he going to pick up the ball? You see him just outside the box. He takes the ball back, but then what is his first thought? I play forward. Then when he puts it in that area, the bravery from Pedro Porro is outstanding. Verbruggen's coming, you think he's going to punch his head off. No, I'm going to be braver, I'm going to nick it, and I'm going to put us 1-0 ahead. The ball, to think forward, everything positive all around. And what a start for Spurs to put your team 1-0 up. And brilliant from Pedro Porro, that's your right back getting ahead, 1-0.
For Spurs to take the lead as well in this first half, because there were chances at both ends, really, weren't there? In terms of Brighton had a lot of the momentum, as did Spurs. But for Spurs to get that opening goal must have given them so much confidence. However, Brighton, as we said, came back right at the end of that first half. And
you're right, they were really positive. And then, Brighton, we saw this a couple of times, this ball going into the box. They get the clearance and then a mix-up between Gallagher and Mawani there. Ball goes out, they've got all their players back, but no one's closing the ball down. This goes into the far post, and you just stand on the sidelines and clap that, because that's an unbelievable finish. The pace is on the ball, and he just puts his foot on it, side foots it into the top roof of the net. An absolute fantastic finish. The
execution is outstanding, unbelievable. You won't see a better goal today in the Premier League, I'm sure. But you look from a Spurs perspective, how avoidable is that? 2 opportunities they had a chance to go and close the ball. Try and block that cross. Fullbacks, Les, you talked about when you're a coach. What do? Get close, block the cross. Spurs didn't do that.
It felt like the second half was pretty much exactly the same as the first half as well. Again, chances at both ends, both sides seeming to have a bit of momentum as well. But it was Spurs who were able to take the lead in the second half. Yeah,
it was. And like I said, I thought Brighton started the second half really well. Made some changes. This is great play from Bergville. Plays it into Javi Simmons, and we were saying, come on, give us something. He turns inside and he gives us something. This is an absolutely fantastic finish. But this is, again, Spurs pressing. Bergville presses, wins the ball back. Brighton trying to play out from the back, but this is all about Javi Simmons here. And this is what we've been expecting from him all season. This is what we know he's capable of doing. And like I said, he scores the goal, and then, obviously, the celebrations were a bit premature but it's an emotional game, and they get caught up in the emotions, and an absolutely fantastic finish. And then you thought, come on, can Spurs just hold on? You wanted to see him in the starting lineup, Michael, Javi Simmons, and that's exactly what he brought, that creativity. He found those chances for Spurs today. Yeah, I've seen Spurs all season. I've always looked, and it's been hard for him. Came in for big money, £51 million. And I think for a player of someone like his quality, he's got to be playing, he's an arm round. He's a creator. That's what he does. He creates goals. He needs to get on the ball. It's not been easy for a team that struggled. He's been in and out the team, and you look today, he goes in the team. I thought he should have probably started more in the centre role, but just the way Roberto De Zerbi goes up with 3 out-and-out midfield. He slotted in on the left-hand side, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. 1 assist, 1 goal. You talk about the emotion. You could see what it means to him to only score his 2nd Premier League goal, and we've probably been calling for it for a long time now.
You mentioned, Les, it is an emotional game. It's an emotional game for the players. You can see that in the reaction here in these celebrations. But are they going to learn something from this now for the last remaining fixtures?
I'm certainly hoping so. Yeah, of course, you understand where you are. And like I said, if that was the 90th minute, I could understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was like there was still a lot of football to be played. 78th minute, I think he scored in, and there's still a lot of football to play. So the celebrations and the reaction was like, we got to keep this tight. We just got to make sure we don't give something away. But it's jumped in the crowd. Everyone gets involved. The subs off the bench.
Good job they didn't see me in the studio.
Yeah, those jumped all over me as well. So, we thought that was it. But no, we did feel that Brighton were going to get another chance in the game.
Yeah, which is exactly what they did. You didn't want to see Michael's reaction when this Brighton equaliser went in. Jorginho Ruta getting there. But we said it the whole time. Brighton have looked dangerous.
They have. And, the threat that they have. Mitoma came on and then had to go off. Minter down the left-hand side. And Danzo should just clear it. Loads of things. But he does well, Van Heek. He pickpockets him, and then what he can do, he picks Ruta out. Outstanding finish, but it's so avoidable. Pedro Porro, here, he's playing against his left winger, Minter. The ball went into him, Minter was there, and look at the distance where they go. That's your right back. He has to stay goal side of your left winger. He has to. With 2-1 up in the final few minutes of a game at home to win the game. Where are you going? Forget the ball. He's a danger man, and this is what happens when it rolls forward. Polina then has to isolate the midfield. So now we've lost the player in the middle of the park. Clear the ball, Danzo. No, he doesn't. Where would Polina be? He would be in this position as a holding midfielder. And that ball then is cleared out. So as much as Kevin Danzo should clear the ball, that from Pedro Porro, he can't then step out and not drop back. It's just numerous mistakes, mindset, tiredness, all kicks in. But that's the final little details to get over the line and win a football match.
I said to Dawes, looking at your right back, you're in that position. You're the centre half there. What are you saying to your right back? Because when I saw him go in, I thought, where are you going? You've just got to stay. Let him have the ball. Keep it goal side. Just keep goal side of him. And Dawes said, I'll be saying to him, get back in here. But he lets him off, and him down the left-hand side. Every single time he got it, put the ball in the box. He caused danger the whole game. And I thought, just keep goal side of him. He didn't do it.
It can be fine margin, can't it, Les? You know the game can be split of a coin. It's so fine margin, and you just, unfortunately, you can get punished at this level. And Brighton certainly possessed that in the final third. Ruta came on. I'm not taking anything away from Brighton because Van Heek does well to pick him out. But that's your centre-forward making the last-ditch tackle against Ruta, and it's a brilliant contact, reverses it away from Kinski to bring it 2-2. Credit to Brighton, they kept fighting and believing they would get one more opportunity, and they did that.
You said fine margins there, so how do they turn that around? How do they make sure that they're going to see these games out now into those final ones?
It's no coincidence that the biggest problem, football's never changed. It's about how you putting it in the opposition's goal and stopping it going in your goal. Spurs are down there with Wolves with the most goals conceded this season. And so that is a problem. So the manager will have to look at that and say, and like we said before, he hasn't got time for too many tactics. It's just about people doing their jobs in the right place. And they'll look at that, and they'll definitely look at that and say, right, OK, Porro, what you thinking? And so they just need to address that. And, as I said, they just needs to be a bit more solid at the back.
Let's have a look at the bottom of the table, because currently that is where Spurs are. They're in that relegation zone. We know that West Ham and Forest are still to play, and that gap could be even further after, obviously, Forest and West Ham have got their game. So in terms of you're looking at Nottingham Forest and West Ham, are they going to be thinking this is a massive opportunity for us now because Spurs have dropped points?
Oh, definitely. They'll have been watching this game without a doubt. They're in the hotel, they're waiting for the games tomorrow and going, Spurs now leapfrog us if we're West Ham. Nottingham Forest are getting, they would have gone above them as well on goal difference. So everything can change. Bang, that goal goes in. Now we've got an opportunity. Tomorrow, Nottingham Forest against Burnley at home. Brilliant on Thursday night in Europe. Premier League, now we have a chance to make that gap even bigger. And that is a problem. When it's out of your hands, it can be challenging. West Ham obviously got Palace on Monday night, so their fortunes changed, and that's why it's getting... For Spurs, I said it was a must-win tonight. Next week now is critical, away at Wolves.
It feels like obviously every game is going to be so important now for Spurs, isn't it? Depending on what happens around them. Say Forest and West Ham do win their games then. how are Spurs going into these next couple of games? Because they have to fight now, don't they?
They've got no choice.
Yeah.
They've got no choice. We was looking at the table earlier on and Spurs would have jumped to 16th. And then all of a sudden, West Ham and Forest are thinking, we have to win. And that's a different kind of... They can be a bit more relaxed about tomorrow. Of course, they want to win, but they can be a bit more relaxed. When you see the team jump above you, all of a sudden it gives you a different feeling. Tonight they'll be thinking... They'll have a sigh of relief, thinking like, OK, we need to go and win tomorrow, but there's a little bit less pressure on and then winning in the way they need to tomorrow.
Yeah, OK.
Up for us, seeing those faces there, Glenn, seeing where they still are in the table, knowing that there are 5 games left in the season for them. What's the feeling?
Yeah, well, it's a bit of frustration and sadness, really, because I think they're in a position, they're in pole position to win the game with a super goal. And then what you've got to do, when you're down there, it's not about how pretty you play. When you're playing survival football, all the defenders, there's got to be some leadership, either from the sideline or somebody on the pitch has got to say, we defend with our lives here as a whole team. If it needs to go in row Z, it needs to go in row Z. And Danzo, unfortunately, takes a touch trying to play football in his own penalty area, in a way, instead of his mind thought should have been, I'm clearing this, get it out of the danger zone. And there's no problem, they probably win the game. So there was phases in the game, when you're down the bottom and there's survival, that mode has to come in. We're going to survive it. We've earned 2-1 up. Let's make sure we don't give it away. We've given it away, our lead in the first half. Let's learn from that mistake. And you've got to get that message across to all the players, whoever it may be. And in the end, Danzo could have easily, if he's switched in to clear it, he's got to clear that ball. He's trying to play football. Doesn't realise that he's got a player behind him. And Brighton, my word, they punished Tottenham there with a Reuter's finish. It was a fabulous finish. But Danzo's mindset, if he's got a mindset and everyone's gone round the pitch saying, we don't lose this now, he boots that away. That comes up here towards the camera in row Z, and they get everyone back and they defend it. And unfortunately, they didn't switch their minds into that sort of survival football.
And there had been warning signs, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, you think about how Spurs are conceding goals and chances. The first goal they concede, 3 minutes into added on time in the first half, and then it's 1-1. But before half-time, they concede probably the biggest chance in the game. It's a header that just goes just wide. They could have gone in 2-1 down at half-time. And then they're 2-1 up. In the 90 plus 5, in 90 plus 4, Brighton have a massive chance, probably the second biggest chance in the game. Exactly how they scored the first goal. Ball comes in on the back stick, side foot, but this time it goes into the side netting. Yeah. And then the next minute, they concede the goal. And that's a big worry. You don't. I mean, we talked about this relegation spiral. When you continue to make mistakes like that, that's when you can't get out of it. And of course, everybody in the team would now sit in the dressing room thinking, we can't win a game. You use the phrase, we can't buy a win. And and when you look at the games they've got, the 5 games they've got left, you think, where are they going to get this win? It's probably 1 win and a draw that'll save them. But where are they going to get it from?
Pete, that win was in their hands. Yeah. It was in their own hands with 10 minutes to go. And they've given it away. If they've scored a 30-yard top corner, you can't do anything about it. But they could have cleared it. And it's phases in a game. You have to go through different phases. And if you're playing down there, you're third from bottom, you're in the relegation zone, by hook or by crook, you are not going to let your opponents in. You're going to run hard, but you're going to clear the ball. Get it out of your penalty area. Whatever. Pick up people. Make sure there's no spare players in the 18-yard box. And unfortunately, Danzo's trying to play football. He's trying to take a touch, take another touch and maybe guide it down the line. No, it's time to just play survival football, clear the thing. Clear the ball, get it out of the penalty area.
Because they have the lead at that point and they're moments away from a crucial victory. Let's look at the goal that does make it 2-1, because it was sensational.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Every goal kick they played, Brighton, they put 8 players up top, really, 6 or 7 players, and they left the 2 centre-backs out, and they never played it short. They went long all through the game. This time, for some reason, they decide, look, all the players have gone on the halfway line to pin Tottenham back, and they play it short. And suddenly, like Bergvall has just come on, he's got energy, and he wins the ball, he pinches the ball, and the rest is fantastic. It's a wonderful, wonderful goal from Javi Simmons, and I'm really pleased that he's actually scored that. That might set him alight for his career now at Tottenham. But it's a beautiful finish. But it was interesting how they played a short one, Peter, didn't they, for the first time?
And I actually thought we discussed that in the second half when you did the analysis there that we saw first with the 8 players up in the long ball. We actually discussed it, and I say it's quite clever. And we used to play something similar to that, where the idea is to get the ball up, and then whoever wins it, it doesn't matter, as long as you win the second ball. That means you've got everybody running towards the goal with a lot of players. Now, I don't know why they played it. And you know, not only did Bergwall just come on, but they have also... Brighton had also just made a triple substitution, so they weren't really settled in the game. That was the first thing that happened after that. So a little bit risky, but it's the way they play, isn't it? And you can't kind of sort of, I don't know, they cost them a goal, but it's the way they play. And, you know, I think they will say, well, this is a risk we have to take now and again.
I want to follow up on a point you made earlier about where are the points going to come from for Spurs, because we've got their remaining games and we're going to take a look at it, and you think it's really, really difficult.
You want me to predict the remaining games?
No.
I mean, it is. I mean, the next one is Wolverhampton, okay?
Yeah.
So had Spurs won today, Wolverhampton would have gone down. They still have, it's a miracle, needs a miracle, but it's at home, and they have during the course of this season brought some incredible results, or won some incredible results. And then, of course, it's Villa. Aston Villa still trying to get into the Champions League places, so that's a difficult. Yep. We've saw Leeds earlier on today. They have found some form. They're playing really well. Then it's Chelsea. Tottenham never beats Chelsea, you know, and especially not at Stamford Bridge. And at Everton, the last game. And you can imagine that Everton, at this point, will probably have a game playing to get into Europe. So all of these games, there's something at stake for the other team as well. It's difficult. And just going by what, I mean, obviously, the big advantage for Spurs here, by the way, and it's ironic, is that 3 of those games are away from home. They've won 20 points in 16 games away from home. Before today, they've only won 10 points in 16 games.
They are.
You know, they don't play well at home.
No, we can't get a win at home. No. It's all right saying, oh, we've got 2 home games, but you've got to start winning. They are tough games. I agree with Peter. They are tough games, but West Ham have got tough games as well. And at the moment, we've got -11 compared to West Ham's -17. I think that's going to be quite a big... That might actually go down to goal difference.
Well,
that's how tight it's going to be.
2 home wins still all season for Spurs. We're going to leave it there because we do have one more game to come. And we've got...
But it's deflating. As a player now, you feel, you know, what to do. You're looking at everyone like, look, guys, we worked so hard. And they did. They were tremendous today. Incredible goals, incredible finishes. But not just that, it was the work rate, which was the minimum, bare minimum. And they all did it. So it's disappointing for them, of course. But now, who's the leaders? Who's going to go around the dressing room just to make sure and look after Dante, because that is not nice to deal with. I've been in this position before as a player and as a teammate, and you need to make sure you look after that guy right now because you need him. And like everyone, look, they were brilliant today. Just wasn't enough in the end. But Brighton, credit to them getting the result they needed.
Absolutely. Tough moment for Kevin Danso right at the end. His mistake leading to the equaliser. We're talking about leaders, but we need also leaders on the field in terms of quality. Your guy, Javi Simmons, he's got to continue this form for the next 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's frustrating. He's not always reliable defensively, but he's got the quality to do something. He scored 1, he hit the post, he created the other one. So, for me, he has to play. But to come to Theo's point, and I've been in relegation fights many times, and that looked like a team that are desperate to get out of it. That's what you have to do. You leave it all out there. There's players with cramp. There's players playing with injuries. He's used all his subs. That looked more like a team that realises in the relegation fight, and they did everything to get out of it. That's why you see the fans cheering Roberto De Zerbi. They're not down and out. They're going to start needing favours soon.
Yeah, it is a problem with West Ham and Forest still to play. Are you feeling more positive, though, Tim?
No, that's not my point. No, today was a turning point. Because if they win, I think, okay, then they go in the ascendancy. They're now in hope mode. They're in hope because I'll tell you what, if West Ham and Nottingham Forest win their game, their game in hand, I'm thinking they need 2 results now. And time's not on their side. So I worry. Going into today, I thought it's in their own hands. Now with that result, they have to just hope. And that's not a great place to be.
Just explain to us just how damaging it would be for Spurs to get relegated, Theo.
Not just for Spurs, but for the Premier League itself. And I mean, playing in that stadium is incredible. Look, and that's coming from an Arsenal fan. So for me, Tottenham they're both football club, but it's the same kind of mindset when Leicester won the league. Surely they won't win the league. We're kind of the same mindset of Tottenham. Surely they won't go down. But if they show that, they've got a chance. But you're right, I agree with Tim. It's the hope now. This is never a good place to be.
Okay, in your gut, what's your hunch? Down or no?
I feel like they've got too much to do. I really do.
You do? You think they're going to go down?
I do.
Wow, okay. Thea Walker.